we're live, I think.
All right.
Okay.
I
Let me
like
start out with a
I
little
like
bit of music.
I like being live.
I can't
So,
even. Yeah.
si- why don't you uh jeez. Hold on. I'm going to copy the link and
Are we live right now?
yeah, we're live right now.
Okay, so I'll take it from here. Hi everyone. This is Steve from BeatzCoin. I'm here with Alex, the host of the BeatzCoin podcast, pending official name release, and we're also here with Snow, and we are testing our very new podcast app that we are utilizing to bring the podcast out to everyone. So let's get it.
Then this is where I put the music in. Give it a second, see if a few people join.
Okay, I'm gonna put the link around.
Yeah, I got music in the background so they can hear it.
Who hears it? I don't hear it.
Whoever's listening can hear the music in the background. I know that for sure.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah, just a couple settings we have to switch tomorrow and get it all dialed in. No biggie.
Nah, we'll figure it out.
We're a bit late too because we advertised 5 p.m. So
A bit late.
Yeah, a
2
little
hours
late.
late.
just a little bit.
If we want to test, quote unquote, caller, I could have somebody call in.
No, it's there's a chat feature.
Yeah,
what,
click on the link, Steve, and you can see. You need to sign up.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, look, see, there you go. So
Yeah.
it is working.
Yeah, I found it.
Sent from okay. See, so people can jump on and actually chat with us. So if we start telling people ahead of time and actually stick to our time, I'm sure a lot of people will jump in and they'll start, listening to the episode, and they can ask us questions and things like that.
Yeah. I'll just chase up these guys that were waiting.
Yeah, but anyways, even if we go live and not many people, jump on, like the episode will still save and we'll still be able to play it. And then what I can do on these non-official episodes, I can just delete them after like a week, if unless it's like an awesome episode.
We probably really don't need to keep this one.
Yeah, because this new service, it gives us up to like 500 hours to keep on storage.
Yeah, it's just a test, Which I'm a little disgruntled now, I was so looking forward to a nice listening series podcast, and but it's all good, moving over to a new service. Like I was talking to Alex earlier, when you deal with audio here, one of the downsides of dealing with digital audio is instead of hooking all your stuff up with plugs and everything else in the aux world, you're moving over to digital world where you have to make sure in these programs that you're not necessarily familiar with. Of course, Alex just got this new setup a couple of days ago, and you have to literally, it's just like all these aux plugs. I mean, I don't know if any of you guys seen Forrest Gump, where Forrest is getting ready to speak in Washington, D.C., and like they start pulling all the plugs out, you know what I mean? And that like fucked the whole show up, because once them plugs were pulled, everybody was like, fuck, how do we get these plugs back in? Excuse me for the F-bomb, but and then everybody had to hurry up and figure out hypothetically how to put all these plugs back in. And it is that complicated in an auxiliary setup.
Yeah.
And it's just the same in a digital setup because you still have to feed all these digital aspects. You have to have your inputs correct. You have to have your outputs correct. And then when you tie an application in, such as Spreaker, with another application called Skype, and then you
Yep.
have to consider the hardware that Alex is using. I mean, we're talking a lot of inputs and outputs that have to be perfectly configured to actually get everything to work right.
Okay,
So,
we got Rude Boy and Mitchell Zelski. Sorry, man, if I'm saying your name wrong.
Rude
Zaluski.
boy, what's up?
Hey, see, guys, give us some type in there and see if you can give us some feedback if our audio sounds good.
Yeah, this is just a test one today, so we kind of want to get it right for our next listening series.
Right. It's test, 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 and get it right, and then we'll come correct on the next episode for sure.
Right. It's cool because there's an actual, if there's like a web page and you can actually see in there, and listen live. So if you're on your computer or if you are on the app, it works just as fine. So as long as we sent the, I think we could schedule it out to go live and everything. So that's pretty cool. We just got to figure out how to get the tracks on my side for you guys to be able to hear.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
back into music news. KDT, when I asked them earlier, send me a track so we could test it on the podcast. Um, they got an upcoming feature from Bootleg of the Dayton Family. Now, if you don't know who the Dayton Family are, they were actually signed to Psychopathic Records. If anyone's heard of
Nice.
ICP, the Insane Clown Posse, that whole thing. So it was a pretty huge deal, and they got a track releasing featuring them, and that's going to be pretty awesome. um,
That's really
other
cool. That's good for them.
yeah,
'Cause
yeah, they're
that's a milestone for them because they're playing with someone
right.
that's that's great. Now,
Right. Anything underground artists can do to make moves, and I like to see. Um, I'm a big promoter of everyone work together, and we don't see a lot of that in the space. You know what I mean? So I think it's it's mandatory that we promote the fact that artists need to work together. If you're a producer, if you're a singer, if you're a country musician, a rock star, a rapper, whatever it is, we need to bring everyone together. That's something that we're going to have to work on. I don't know how we can implement it into maybe we can incentivize groups of people to work together. I don't know how we're going to do it, but this is just brainstorming and forward thinking. You know what I mean? But in order for the aspiring artists to propel themselves to magnificent heights, everyone's got to work together. And how can we do that, Alex? You know what I mean?
right? I mean, we talked about having some awesome features on the platform once that launches. And now if you can get more in specific and have more like a more social aspect to it, it would be pretty epic because
That's the thing.
yeah.
Like you said, one of the major things we need is a chat pop up on the platform. And I think that is going to play a very big role. And this, of course, this is going to be something down the line in a few months or so or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But that's going to play a very big role when the whole Vibravid community as a whole can just jump on the Vibravid chat, let's call it for now, and actually talk to and collaborate with one another. That might be a huge thing, just encourage people to work together. And because how do you move forward? You have to work with each other. You have to give what you have to somebody else, and they put forward what they have, and then you make something magnificent. You know what I mean?
Imagine if in the future you were able to, on the Vibravid platform, send like an artist a DM and then be like, hey man, I heard your your production, your beat, Can we collaborate together? Check out my stuff.
Right, for sure. That's definitely something. That's a no-brainer right there. That's definitely something we're gonna have to add.
That might be a little more not difficult, but a little more tedious as far as development goes. But I mean, like a regular like open chat, that's probably a lot easier. I mean, I'm sure we can get started with that. And any type of socialness to the platform is going to help.
Right. That's one of the main things. After launch, the next integration is probably going to focus on social integration, whether it's sending private messages and or integrating a social chat network into the platform. That's definitely priority. And then I think the second priority after that later on, and we're talking 4 to 6 months maybe, is actually looking at integrating the first aspects of advertising, which is going to be huge. So
I wonder. Hey Snow, how do you know how many people are listening in?
I'm just watching as they log in. I'm not on there
okay.
at the moment. I'm just spreading the link everywhere. That's why I'm a little bit quiet.
right.
Okay.
I'll join
Yeah,
in
no
a
worries.
sec.
No worries. You're good. Yeah, it doesn't say, but I think she was just keeping count. Rude Boy V says, "Is Viberbid going to host the artist songs and videos?" What's the plan on that initially, Steven? Do we have any definite answer?
Now, I need some clarification on the question.
So are we going to host the artist songs and videos?
Are we going to host the artist songs and videos? So basically, when an artist logs in to the platform and subscribes to actually be able to upload content on the platform, in the back end, those uploads are going to go directly into an IPFS format in the back end. So the user up front is not going to have to do any technical things whatsoever. So let's say I'm an artist, I just subscribed to the Vibravid platform, and I clicked for what we're temporarily calling Vibravid Plus, which for those of you that don't know, Vibravid Plus is the option to actually be able to upload content to the platform. So you'll have to pay a certain amount of BeatzCoin or TRX, and you will have that option to be able to host your content on the platform. Once you do that and upload your content, we take it in the back end and it's automatically processed through IPFS. A hash is created, and the hash goes back to an index for the platform. And once, say, someone wants to search for your content, then it's available on the Vibravid platform. Now, back to the direct question. I mean, we're focusing on music right now, but we haven't left out the video aspect right away during launch. It's very probable at this point right now that we may leave it open, free for all, video and song content. So again, I'm not sure the aspect of the question, but you can.
I think you hit it. I think you hit it on the point.
You can launch your song and your video on the platform.
Okay, so another question for you, Steve. When is beta testing of Vibravid?
Okay, so today is February 19th, where I'm at. We are looking at realistically, of course, I don't want to put a sooner date than a later date. So I would be confident saying that toward the 3rd or 4th week of March, we will be in beta testing.
Wow, that's exciting, isn't it?
For sure.
Yeah, Rude Boy says that's very user friendly. Users don't have to struggle much with technicalities. Oh yeah, man. Imagine getting. No, yeah, we have to make it as easy as possible. I mean, I think
Well,
we beat the drum on that.
right, and one of the things, and it did cost us a little, and who cares about cost, but just poetically speaking, it did cost us more to have this in place where, um, for example, like I said, where a user in the front end can upload his content, and then in the back end we're transferring it over to IPFS, creating the hash and everything else, and then directing that back as something usable on the platform. So we're trying to create the best ways possible for users to upload their content and still keep it in a decentralized framework.
The other good thing too is that the average Joe, if they don't know about crypto, they don't really need to know to use the platform. It's actually, they just know that there's a way to pay, and this is what they have to buy to pay for the content.
Right. Yeah, there's so many ways we can go with that, and it's going to be very exciting for everyone. What we are looking at for sure right now, like I said, was a late third or fourth week of March beta testing, and this, when people might hear that, it's kind of pushing us back a little bit, but not like as much. Like we were kind of planning like by April or end of March, April, we'd be completely launched. But we're looking at like a 2 to 3 window beyond that. So, as of today, February 19th, we are actually 4 days out from our milestones. So we'll kind of see how that pans out. Actually, since we began a couple of months ago with this new development team, being 4 days out over the course of the last 2 months, we're doing really well. So, we, if all goes well, the hardest part, if anybody paid attention, the hardest part was milestone 3, which we're on right now, which is incorporating all the payment systems and the Tron API and everything else. And once that's completed, then the next milestone is just simply going to be integrating IPFS and all the back-end routes, which is, don't get me wrong, very complicated stuff, but milestone 3 is the biggest hurdle, and we're 4 days out. We're late, yes, okay, but it's going to be done in the next couple of days, I've been assured, and I've looked at some of the progress, and it looks very well. So once we pass that, the rest is downhill from there. Milestone 4 and 5 are going to be, in my opinion, a downhill motion, and then we're going to set up strategic launch dates, token sale dates, and that's pretty much sums it up.
If anything, I mean, I'm not saying it's good to be a few days behind, but now that we have a more complete artist relations team that's working with me, it gives us more time to work on on just getting more people on the platform, educating them. That's what I'm really excited about, because just talking to Mike the Tron guy yesterday. He's like, dude, I know this person, I can probably get you around to this person. I mean, if you notice, he tweeted Thistle and another rapper who's got a ton of views on YouTube, and and he tweeted us back. He says, "Okay, I'm on." Like that easy, just because they all trust and believe in Mike, because he used to be a promoter. But we were talking, like, he knows the owner of Tooth and Nail Records. We can approach those record labels, and if they have 10 to 20 artists on board, and they're gonna tell their artists, all right, we're putting your music on this distribution platform. Like, who says no? So,
right.
It's exciting, because we'll have a little more time to get them on the platform. That way, those people who are testing it, beta testing, they'll have more music to listen from.
Right, and whoever is the very minimal listeners that are here now for this test sequence of the podcast, you heard it here first. We won't announce it after this. Rovak has volunteered to actually be one of our beta testers, so that's very good news. Because of course he'll pick apart anything he sees and provide feedback back to us, and he's also offered to help us, and we're also in negotiations with Rovak as far as bringing him on the team as an actual technology advisor. So
Yeah,
uh,
he's like
that's
the tech goat for Tron. So that
right.
when he's involved in something, you know, like it's legit. So
Right.
for all them fudsters out there.
I can't believe you're
Yeah.
actually dropping our secrets, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, I have a handful of them, but
Yeah.
I, I think it was appropriate to say that, and I'll hold a couple more secrets under my belt. I mean, I don't like to keep secrets and make it a point, but there are things that we do in the background that, I mean, we're working on a lot of things, and people are going to be pretty amazed. As far as like Alex said about the FUD, uh, nothing's more funny than when I go on Twitter and I see certain things, or I skim Telegram and I see certain things, and it's like, come on, really? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It the unfortunate part, in my personal opinion, is that there's people in the Tron space, and I won't mention any names, but there's a lot of genuine people who were early investors of Tron, who are big on Twitter and actual solid investors, and they get caught up in scams like, well, I was just going to drop some names, so I'm going to stop myself there.
No
But
names.
there's a couple projects that have already come up as scams, and these people that, like I said, are good people, good early Tron investors, and they're one of the first people I followed personally on Twitter, and it makes me beg the question, like, how did you get involved with these scam
Yeah.
projects? And then these same people um
The Russian
have,
dude. Sorry.
well, hey, we're gonna leave it there, but
Look,
there.
I have something to say about the
Everyone
sort of
knows
Well,
about
stuff.
well,
that.
just let me finish my sentence.
Okay. Okay.
Sure.
Some of these people that are heavily invested in these quote unquote scam projects don't even have one BeatzCoin or have never mentioned it, and that so that's my goal. I want to bring these people over to our project and let them know what a real project does.
Yep. And
Absolutely. But we also need to remember that it only takes one person to make a project scammy. And,
yeah, that's true.
True.
a lot of people can't control what other people do. I
Mhm.
mean, we've all been in that situation before. There's a few things happening at the moment for some people, and it's not a nice situation to be in. And especially when the public points fingers at everybody on the project when actually it's just one person,
That
you
Right.
is
know,
true. Very
and
true.
we can't control what other people do. And the sooner people realize that and back the community and understand that it only takes one bad apple to make a bad project, you know,
Well, I'll be honest, and I totally agree, but um, I would never, because we've been working on this project for over a year now, and which a lot of people don't know. I mean, we need to exclamate that more. You know what I mean? We've
I was
been
just
working
thinking that.
we've been working on
Mhm.
BeatzCoin for over a year, and here we have projects that are 2 months old, 3 months old, and they go right to the decks, and there's pumps and dumps and whatever. That's
Yeah.
besides the point. That's them, whatever. But we've been working on this project for a year. We have never applied to any decks. We have never pumped and dumped anything. Um, we did have, if you, I, I will phrase it perfectly. We did hold our preliminary token trading event, and we abruptly cut it off because we were getting too many sales, and we wanted to make sure we had all of our ducks in a row and our legalities and everything else, and we cut it off. And if you want to look at a legit project, this is a legit project. And
If
yeah, I'm saying it, but I mean,
Steven, if you were
the
a
proof speaks for
scammer,
itself.
if you were a scammer, you would be like the worst scammer ever. Like, you showed up at Nitron, you have all this, we have all this TRX in our main wallet. Like,
Not
come on, man.
90% of all TRX we pulled in are still sitting in the BeatzCoin wallet.
You know what, though? We're doing it right. And the thing is, when our ICO starts, we're going to have something that people can use and
Token
people can
trading
look
event?
at.
For
So
sure.
they know what they're buying tokens for. So, yeah, everyone else can just eat their words, really. I think it's just...
It is. It's very unfortunate. And you know what? I guess sometimes, and I told myself this last night as I was going to sleep, I was like, you just have to come to terms, speaking for myself, you just have to come to terms with flashy scam projects are going to be more appealing to the masses than a legitimate project. You know what I mean?
Only until we have a working
Right.
product. And then
yeah.
I think it'll be completely different for us.
Zales
Right.
And I think we're doing it right. Why do we want to list on DEX at the moment?
Oh,
No,
of course,
there's no reason.
What
Value
benefit?
ourselves.
There's no benefit to us.
No, of course
Yeah.
not.
Zelzy said a lot of people said that it's a scam because the date and the ICO is moved. Which, okay, if you like didn't listen to anything and then all of a sudden, like, you don't know anything about BeatzCoin, all of a sudden you hear that, oh, we moved the date. Okay, why? But you gotta like at least do a little digging and see, how we progress in development, why it makes sense to move the sale and everything.
Yeah, and if I had to put my 2 cents on that, I mean, pushing it back isn't a bad thing. If we had, I don't know, if we had rushed something and said you need to buy now, and then you need to buy now, and you need to buy now even more. Matter of fact, we'll move to waves and do this again, and we'll fuck it. We'll leave. Excuse me for the F-bomb. We'll move to Ether. We'll move to Ethereum again, and we'll do it again there.
The thing is,
like someone we know.
Right, saying,
the
like,
thing is, though, why is something a scam? Because it's moved the date. Isn't that being facilitated?
We're being transparent. We're being honest. I mean,
yeah.
But again, we've been doing this for a year. Most people are looking at projects that are popping up within 2 or 3 months, making tons of money. And are those the legit projects? I'm not calling anyone out. You know what I mean? Yeah, some of them are. What I'm really curious about is gambling is a thing. There's a lot of gambling dApps on Tron, and I'm wondering if ever, I don't want to stir the pot, but I mean, if ever there are any crackdowns on all these gambling dApps. Because here's what I remember: I'm a big, what people don't know about me, I'm a big Texas Hold'em player, so I'm completely waiting for Tron Dice to launch their poker app. I will be one of the first people to sign up for that. Shout out to them. So,
by
seriously,
the way, sorry. By the way, just to clear it out, Zalesy was not saying he thought that. He was just saying he heard that from other people. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's
for
our
sure.
boy. That's our guy right there. So.
I actually think he pressed enter before he finished because he after that. I don't think so. It's perfect.
But like you said, it's good conversation.
It has to be polished. Yeah.
No, that's completely understood. But what I wanted to touch back on was, as a poker player, I was heavily involved with PokerStars and some of these other sites. And we're talking 10 years ago. This is when I was first hearing about Bitcoin and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I'm playing online poker, and then all of a sudden, all my poker sites were getting shut down. I actually had money on certain poker sites, and I've never retrieved it yet because the funds were seized, as shit went haywire. Excuse me, dropped S bomb. But
Again.
no, but seriously, I'm just kind of wondering. I mean, Tron is leading, the dApps are leading to a lot of these gambling aspects, and the argument is it's not fiat money, no one can regulate it. But I think at some point, gambling's gambling, and it is a regulated environment, and that's something we're not a part of at all. But these are some of the most popular things to purchase, and I don't want to say invest, but buy. And I just wonder, like, what is anything ever going to happen? Is this going to last forever? Like, we can just cryptocurrency bet on all these fucking or shit. I dropped another.
We gotta change this to explicit, man. Oh, we're only gonna leave this episode up for like what, 2-3 days? How long should we?
Right.
Yeah, it's only a test one, so.
But my point is, we have all the majority of the Tron dApps are gambling dApps or fighter games.
I heard that.
Let's split it up 50-50. But at the end of the day, the fighter games are fine. You know what I mean? Who cares? But all these
fun.
all of these gambling things, somebody's going to want to regulate that at some point. And then what happens when it gets regulated, and what's going to happen to all those people that have been putting all their time and effort and money into these things? Just like me when I was playing poker on PokerStars around the world 10 years ago, and my account got seized. It was like I didn't do anything wrong. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know. I'm not saying, hey, if you want to play at all these Tron-based gambling sites, that's fine. It boosts the network. It helps us. I'm just saying, has anyone ever considered the legalities behind this stuff? At some point, it's not going to be a thing. And then what's going to happen to all those people that have invested their time and money into playing with all these projects? And what's it going to turn into? I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I mean, TronBet, for example, has ante, which pays you dividends. Mm-hmm. So I guess if that happened to me, because I'm a TronBet girl, not that I gamble, I don't
you just
gamble.
said dividends. So are they in the clear with being a security? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I haven't asked, but I've invested in ante. I don't gamble myself, but I've heard they've got new card games coming too. So, but what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that my auntie's paying me dividends, and if TronBet disappeared one day, I figure I've got my money anyway. So.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Unless you got a big old bag of it and it disappears one day and then you can't dump it.
True, but hopefully by that point, if it ever gets to that point,
because
I have my dividends.
Again, we won't.
Deliso says all crypto is gambling. I agree with that. It's a gamble until you have a working product.
He's very right, but all crypto doesn't fit in the legal space of being considered under the what do you say? Under the authority of gambling authorities.
I think what he means is all crypto is a risk.
Right, it is a risk. It all is a risk. That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, kind of. Let's go ahead and wrap things up because we've been here for about 35 minutes already.
Sure, let's keep it going, man.
I
gotta go to the grocery store before my wife gets upset. She's like, "Why didn't you buy?" Dude, I'm doing this new detox, by the way. So it really sucks. I have to buy like super healthy food, and if my wife gets home and I don't have that super healthy food, I'm in trouble.
Spanking.
She's got you sorted out, hasn't she?
Spanking.
Well, dude, she lost like 8 pounds. Like she's not. I mean, she's a good weight already, but she lost like 8 pounds in like the whole month, a couple inches. I'm like, dang, I need to get on this. So
Yeah, I thought
Hey.
you were gymming and everything, Alex. Like, what's going on? I'm doing an 8-week challenge where I'm nearly dead every day.
really,
You should be doing
I was
something.
with Alex in San Francisco, and he purposely bought his wife this fancy $50 or $70 two couple bags of tea. So like, I don't know. He like does all he can for his wife, and now
He's one of
and now
those
he
guys.
sent
every
me a
girl wants to
screenshot
have.
earlier that drinking that tea, and I'm like, damn.
I said I ain't letting that go to waste. I spent some
Right.
good money on that tea.
Right. And honestly, the funny part is for that 15, 20 minutes we were in that tea shop, that's a memorable moment that I'll never forget. That was pretty awesome, to be honest.
And you're not even a tea guy, but it was funny how you were making fun of me. He was like,
I was,
it's
at
like
first.
You paid $20 for some hay.
Yeah, because that's what it looked like, to be honest.
You wait until you meet me in July. I'm the biggest health nut out. I'm going to drive you insane.
Crypto people, you want to know who the scammers are? There's tea shops in San Francisco that are selling hay for $50 for a 1 pound bag.
Oh man. Hey, okay, well, I think the live show is pretty cool as long as we let people know ahead of time and we actually come at the time that we say we're going to come on. So, what do you say we just leave the episode here, and what we do is leave it up for a couple days and plan another one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm kind of sad though. I want to keep going. I have to be honest. Sorry.
Well, with that being said, let's let you have the closing remarks. The floor is yours for 2 minutes.
Take the floor, Steve.
2 minutes. 2 minutes, and you say goodbye, and then I'm stopping this. We are not talking anymore. Everyone, here's Steven to finish it off.
All right, in my closing remarks to this BeatzCoin podcast, we're going to get all our stuff together as far as the podcast goes. I would like anyone listening, and this is kind of secretive information, but not so much. We are also looking at our SR campaign, and we're also getting that developed and progressed. I want everyone to know that we are going to be closing milestone 3 within the next day or two, or I'll even give it 4 or 5 days. But as soon as that happens, we will be pushing them announcements to our Telegram announcement channel. So if you are not subscribed to that Telegram announcement channel, that is where realistically we drop all of our announcements first before they go to Twitter, Facebook, anything else. Our announcements go to that channel. So if you are not a subscriber to that channel, get subscribed up. As far as scams go, BeatzCoin is not a scam. There are a lot of other scams in the place. This is not something I put my heart and soul into for a year. I brought in so many great people on this team. We are not out here trying. What are we scamming? I mean, ask yourself that at the end of the day. We are not a scam. What we are doing is we are creating one of the first viable products on the Tron platform, which creates a means of exchange between creators and users, and which also provides incentives for users and creators to participate in viewing content, listening to content, marketing bounties. I mean, we are doing something that is superficial compared to anything else. In my opinion, I know it's haughty to say, but in my opinion, we are doing something bigger and better than probably any other project on the entire Tron network. And yes, I'll say that. Although, don't get me wrong, seeded, the cards, using them cards, that's a big deal. Shout out to all the people involved with that, with Sesame Seed and everything else. That is huge, huge. But what we are doing is something that no one else is doing, and I appreciate everyone's support. Please support BeatzCoin. Please look out for the VibraVid launch. Please support the token sale when we launch. Thank you. That's all I got.